Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 52 female, married John, 58 male, 15 years ago. When we met, he had been widowed for about 3 years and had 2 children from his previous relationship. Mark, 24 male, and Lisa, 22 female. All fake names. I never met his first wife, and as far as I know, they were a happy family until an accident took her away, and John was devastated for almost a year until he started coming out of his shell. When I came into the picture, he was still heavily involved with his former in-laws and had 2 young children as a young father under his care, so he was taking all the help he could from them, and they were his emotional support. I had no problem with that, and made it known to him that I would never try to come between him and any relationship that he and his first wife had created. When things became serious and I was introduced to the kids, they made it known instantly to me that I would never replace their mother and that they weren't particularly pleased with my presence in their home. I accepted that, and I, in agreement with John, decided that we would let our relationship advance slowly to let the kids adjust, and that I would never force myself as a stepmother or anything like that, and I didn't move in until they explicitly said it was okay, and we got married with their blessing. This process took years and family and individual therapy because both me and John wanted to make sure that we were respecting his kids' boundaries. The result is that we cohabitated, but I never parented them. I went to their school functions, cleaned for them, cooked, and we talked and had a cordial relationship. But I never disciplined them, never put rules on them. They never came to me to ask permission for anything, or to tell me their secrets, or ask me advice, which was fine by me. That was what they wanted. In this time, I had 2 children myself, Kate, 13 female, and Laura, 11 female, and the girls do have a sibling relationship with John's children. They've moved out in this time, and although I assisted some with their college expenses and such, also when they were growing up, I'm no longer financially involved with them. This holiday season, John was talking about his retirement plan. He works in a high-stress industry and has been saving up for early retirement and wanted to put his affairs in order to retire in the next couple of years. He still assists his children with a bit of monthly allowance, and he told them he would be cutting that to put that money towards his own savings, and they did not take it well. They looked at me and asked me if I could continue their allowance, since I own my business and it's doing really well, and I said no. I do well for myself, but I'm not rich, and when John retires, I'll be the only income in the household. Plus, I'll have to save for my daughter's college funds, plus my own retirement. As the conversation of my finances followed, they tried to say that it was my responsibility to take care of them. And I was just taken aback by that statement, because they explicitly told me many times, including recently, not just as children, mind you, that I was just their father's wife, not their mother. So I have absolutely no responsibility towards them in that regard. When she heard that, Lisa got angry and brought up the fact that she expected to inherit my business someday because she grew up with it. I told her in no uncertain terms that she and her brother were entitled to nothing of mine, and certainly not my business, which I built myself from the ground up since before I met their dad. They both got angry and left. My husband knew about all these arrangements well before all this, but is angry about how it all went down, and has been bombarded with messages about what a selfish bee I am, since the argument by his children and his former in-laws, since New Year's, and even my daughters are mad at me now. So, am I the a-hole? They made it clear that OP is not their mother, and only their father's wife, and now they want OP to leave her business to them? Well, it doesn't work like that. Established boundaries were clear, and the sudden expectation for financial support contradicts past agreements. Why would OP leave her business to them when she has her own biological children to worry about? Well, maybe she would if their attitude towards OP was different. It's unfortunate how often money drives families apart. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Molly Hussein 4560 says, "Not the a-hole. Established boundaries were clear, and the sudden expectation for financial support contradicts past agreements." Winterworld 561 says, "Not the a-hole. They're not your kids, and you're not responsible for them. They themselves even made sure you knew this. They are rude and disrespectful, yet expect to be handed anything they want on a plate. You owe them nothing. If your business goes to anyone, it's your own daughters. Don't back down from this. They are not, never will be, and never have been your responsibility, which is what they wanted. Compassion Fever says, not the a-hole. Did you realize you've somehow become the bad guy because their dad is cutting off their cash flow for his own very reasonable purposes? He's jumping on board with being angry at you because it takes the heat off of him. Lisa and Mark are throwing a tantrum, but they don't want to be mad at their dad. So they turned it around on you, someone who they intentionally never welcomed as family. My dad cheated on my mom for years, and we only found this out a couple of years ago when his affair partner turned up to our house pregnant with Dad's baby. Mom kicked him out and filed for divorce, and he went to stay with his parents. I, 19 male, was disgusted by him, so I didn't speak to him again. While he was still with his parents, he died. He had a heart attack in his sleep, and he did have a history of heart issues, so it was no real surprise. Mom was still married to him, so got most of his stuff. But he did leave me things as well. A couple of months ago, his affair partner reached out and said she had a daughter, and her daughter deserved to know her family. I told my dad's parents and siblings about her and passed the info on. I also found a folder Dad had with stuff on his medical conditions and sent them over for her daughter. Everything else of his was at my grandparents', so I had nothing more to send. I told her I sent what I had and that would be it. Dad's affair partner said she wanted me to meet her daughter and be her brother. She told me that we share blood, and that means something, and I could make all the difference in her little girl's life. I told her blood doesn't mean something to me, and I had no interest in forming a relationship, but I hope she was able to get more information to share with her daughter. I blocked her on Facebook days later because she repeatedly sent me DMs requesting I meet her kid. Then she found my account on another platform, and because I don't check it that often, I ended up with a bunch of messages from her there. She started off saying how her daughter deserved family, and I could provide her with a connection to her dad. She told me we're family whether I like it or not, and I should be grateful to have a sibling. She said my dad told her I used to wish for siblings, and how Mom's infertility after me was the reason they had no more kids. She told me all these things about her daughter, and how much it would make a little girl's world to have a brother to love. Then she told me she got nothing from Dad, and she deserves support, and how I owe her as the closest male relative my dad had. She said I should be stepping up to make sure they're okay and taken care of, and how she, the affair partner, deserves better. I blocked her there too, and then she showed up at my place of work to confront me, which is when I told her I owe her nothing. I said she's nothing but a nasty affair partner who can't accept nobody wants her around. I said she can't say she didn't know either, because she admitted Dad told her all about me wanting siblings and Mom not being able to have more. I said people who knowingly duck married people don't deserve anything from the family the affair destroyed. She told me she's the mother of my sibling, and I should be willing to at least be respectful so my half-sister can have a good life, etc. This was all said as she was being removed. Luckily, my boss was understanding. Am I the a-hole? Well, it's only up to OP to decide if he wants to have his half-sister in his life, and if he wants to give her support. OP is definitely not obligated to, and the affair partner has absolutely no right to demand that. If she wants, she can go to court to prove that the girl is OP's father's daughter, and that she has a right to inheritance. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Anakin Skywalker is fave says, not the a-hole. You were far kinder than you had to be. You informed your dad's siblings about her, and you sent her a file of your dad's medical history, and you even told her, I sent what I had, and that would be it. You have no obligation to step up and take care of her, and she went to your place of work to confront you after you blocked her. Good on you for calling her out. Anonymous Female 404 says, you do owe that little homewrecker something actually. A restraining order. Get her the duck out of your life, fast and forever. The child she made is her own responsibility. You already did far more than anyone can reasonably expect by sending things over and giving her contact info for the rest of the family. Maybe grandparents will be happy, but definitely not anyone in the family she and your father destroyed. Entitled B. OBY88 says, the thing is that she isn't asking you nicely to be her big brother. She's trying to guilt trip you, manipulate you, and force you into a siblingship you do not want. At the end of the day, her daughter's life or happiness isn't your responsibility. You do not owe her anything. Her even saying you should be taking care of them because you're a male relative of your father is ducked up. I hope she leaves you alone and concentrates on giving her child the life she wishes for her, instead of trying to guilt trip another person for not giving what she chose to be responsible for. Not the a-hole. My, male 31, brother Tom, male 28, has a girlfriend named Harper, female 25. They've dated for 4 years. They aren't married. They never want to, but Harper calls herself a sister-in-law. They have no kids, and Harper doesn't work. This would be fine if they didn't struggle financially. They had to move in with my parents because of debt. My family thinks Harper is lazy, and she compensates by being a perfect housewife. Harper puts all of her free time into party planning, as in planning our family's birthday and holidays, which we never asked for and don't like. She treats every event like a wedding, and she's the wedding planner. For context, she makes spreadsheets of all the things to do, weeks in advance. These people are in charge of the food, this many people, this budget, these options, up for debate later. These people do decorations, cleaning up before and after, color scheme and attire suggestions. These people do entertainment, karaoke, games, music playlist, movies, slideshows. My family collectively rolls our eyes and says things like, "Harper, it's a birthday for a 1-year-old, my 1-year-old. There will be 10 people there, so duck off with this list." Harper pouts and is moody at the events because if only we did it this way, it would be so much more special and memorable. I'm hosting Easter at my house because I have a large yard for the kids to hunt eggs. As usual, Harper sent the family spreadsheets for the event. Apparently, my job as host is to properly clean my house, weed and mulch my flower beds, and remove a dead tree on the edge of the property. There was a tips and tricks for lawn care she added at the bottom. Harper has decided to cook the food. Her budget is $120, $155 if I want a cake. I emailed her back and simply said, "Who invited you?" She texted me a bunch of question marks. I texted back, "Unfortunately, there will be no +1s to watch my kids find eggs in the yard." If I let my brother bring a date, then I'd have to let my other guests bring dates, and we have already hit our budget of buying a grocery store ham. Sorry, I'm sure you understand how these things are. Best wishes. She stopped talking to me. My brother is mad at me. My dad thinks I'm petty. My sisters couldn't care less. And my mom is happy though. She hates Harper. My wife wants me to act my age and stop this drama. But because it's my family, she's leaving it as my decision. Am I the a-hole for banning Harper? Edit. Harper started making the spreadsheets when she and my brother moved in with my parents. We told her thanks, but no. Every get-together, she wanted to add a few $100s to it of our money. We finally firmly said no. Holy crap, no means no, and she continues to give us passive-aggressive comments about not making our family moment special. I don't consider her family, no one does, not even my brother. He doesn't want to marry her because it's just another girlfriend to him. Their relationship is toxic. I didn't mention it because that's not the problem right now. I'm rude to her, I admit it. Last edit. To answer the many asking about my brother, their relationship, and my parents in it. My brother is an a-hole. I know it, my family knows it. He has strung Harper along for years, and we assumed they would break up long before now. Harper treats him like a king, does everything for him, so that's why he is still with her, but has told us she's just another girlfriend. My dad spoils my brother and pressured my mom to take her in along with my brother. My mom hates Harper. My other 2 siblings, sisters, are low contact, and I am low contact as well. When Harper moved in with my parents, she really pushed for a family connection, correcting us to call her sister-in-law, not a girlfriend. Being a part of all family events, controlling them really. We have shut her down every time, but she pretends like it's never an issue, so we ignore her now. If OP seemed harsh, it's only because of years and years of Harper's entitled need to control and be the hero of every family event. And just because she's dated someone for 4 years, it doesn't make her an actual sister-in-law to the in-laws themselves. Harper is inserting herself into this family and just decides and announces what her role is going to be, instead of letting the relationship between her and OP's family naturally evolve over time. It's kind of manipulative, and now let's hear the community's opinion. I choose you, Snorlax says. That list would have enraged me. Harper not talking to me would be a win in my books. It takes a special kind of person to attempt to plan an event that not only are they not hosting, but haven't even been invited to yet. Not the a-hole. Micha Sound says, not the a-hole. If she wants to be an events planner so bad, why doesn't she go get a job in the events industry? Soft Worldliness 308 says, not the a-hole, but both her and your brother definitely are. Her for obvious reasons, and him for considering her just another girlfriend when they've been together for 4 years, and he's not thinking of her as family, while literally moving her in with his family and forcing all of you to put up with her. Does she know she's in a throwaway relationship that she's wasting her 20s on? This is a dumb, completely avoidable mess for everyone involved. Recently, I've decided that I wanted to change my will and add my daughter's boyfriend, Jack, into my will. I know this sounds ridiculous, but him and my daughter have grown up together. They started dating when they were 14, and they are both 22 now and are engaged. He always felt like a son to me. He was always in our house. He helped with every project I was doing in the house. When I got my knee surgery, he mowed my grass every week without me even asking. Most importantly, he loves my daughter so much. He treats her extremely well, and I know he will make her very happy. Me and my wife have had an argument about me leaving him my hunting cabins and my boat. She loves Jack like a son too. She just believes that they should go to our sons, John and Will. The way I see it is, me and Jack always go hunting and fishing, and I would rather him make use of them, rather than my sons just selling them. Further context, Jack was my best friend Kyle's son. Me and Kyle both served in the Marines in Afghanistan. He died when Jack was 6. I stepped in to help his mom raise him, and treated him as one of my own. On Kyle's birthday every year, me and Jack would go hunting, just like me and Kyle did when we were kids. Whatever worked says. I think the trust for your daughter idea is probably the best plan for minimal drama. But that being said, your will, your decision. You could give it to Tim down the street if you really wanted. Not the a-hole. People don't have to leave their possessions to blood relatives or immediate family members. Material Cellist 4133 says, why not just leave it to your daughter? You can't predict the future. They may end up divorced due to Jack cheating or something crazy. Best to leave it to your daughter so Jack can still enjoy it, but ultimately, it stays in the family. Remarkable C6741 says, my husband was the same way, like a son to my parents. 16 years in, he got caught sleeping with my brother's wife. I'd leave them to her, not him. We also started dating at 14. He did everything for my parents, saw them more than his own.